Tonight, ahead of Father's Day, a conversation with Twin Cities native Jesse Bradley. Bradley traveled the world as a pro soccer goalkeeper. Now a pastor and father of four, he's encouraging others to be great dads with a new ebook, 4 Elements of Fatherhood. How did you come across these 4 elements, and why did you feel like it was so important to share them?
Well, I think a lot of dads are tired and they need some fresh vision with fatherhood. And these 4 elements, I think, are empowering and encouraging, and they're very clear. Sometimes we need a roadmap, especially something that's complicated like fatherhood. And the most rewarding experiences in life can also be challenging.
So we've got connected, invested, rested, and tested, which is pretty easy to remember, but take me through them.
That's right. Rhyming helps sometimes with remembering it. Connected, because the most important part of life is relationships, and there's nothing greater than love. So spend that time, listen well, emotionally enter in, and enjoy your family relationships. And then invested is your time, talent, and treasure. My son and I ran a half marathon to raise money for clean water for kids in Africa. We didn't want to talk about it, we wanted to do something together, so collaborate. And then rested. Yes, get enough sleep, set limits and boundaries, but also this is your inner condition. And for me, prayer and the love of God has really made a difference in my life. And then the last is tested. Adversity is going to come. It's not necessarily going to be polite or knock on the door and ask if it can come in, but the challenges arrive, and how you respond, you always get to choose that. Your attitude, your integrity, and your reliability. That leaves an impression and inspires other people.
Now, you also in the ebook talk about, as dads, the type of dads that we grew up with and how you can use those experiences, whether good or bad, to your advantage.
That's right. And mixed feelings sometimes for people with Father's Day. We've all had a range of experiences there. And 4 quick ones would be abusive, absent, average, and admired. And if your dad's been abusive, I'm so sorry. It shouldn't be that way. The one who's supposed to protect you. But when you forgive, there's restoration, there's healing, and good things can come out of this. With absent dads, I've seen dads be very intentional to be present with their kids. And then what if your dad's average? Be grateful, appreciate his strengths, and then learn from some areas you might have been disappointed. And if you have a dad who's admired, yes, keep the legacy going, but remember there's freedom. You're not going to be exactly like him, so be yourself as well.
What are some tips that you can give to dads that they can just start to work in on an everyday basis to maybe be more connected with their kids?
You know, habits are so important in every part of life. They're small, repeated decisions that have massive impact. And one rhythm for us has been at night, ever since they were little kids, we would read, pray, and then talk about life. And even now, there's something about that last half hour before they fall asleep where, you know, they're more open. Sometimes they're not as busy. They're just sitting still, and they'll really share deeply. And so if that's a rhythm for you that works, great, but find some of those. It could be meals. For a while at Friday nights, that was our meal time. But there's different things you can do that the kids look forward to. It's a tradition. And even now the kids will say, Dad, I'm going to bed. That means like, come on in. And there's always some dad jokes and different things that we like to do together to laugh and have a good time. And just remember that we're going to be together long term. So those relationships, we want to be close, you know, decades from now. And that rhythm of investing the time at night, that's important. Also a chauffeur, a lot of driving for my other kids, and use that time, not just to kind of space out and turn on the radio, but connect and ask questions, because they can't go anywhere. They're in the car with you.
Well, and so important right now because there's so many concerns, especially with teens and mental health, that if you're having those regular conversations, you may be able to nip some of those issues in the bud a little bit sooner.
That's right. And it really takes a community. It's not all on the parents, although the parents are primary, but you need to connect them. And we're so grateful for mentors, educators, coaches. So many people have an influential role in their lives. So get connected in your community, find places to serve. And mental health is significant. The amount that they're loved makes a difference. That security, so they can be authentic. Someone to give them opportunities and support. And if they need help, there's no shame in seeing a counselor. And walk with your kids. Go deep with them.
What are some of the things you miss about growing up in Minnesota? I know you're in Seattle now.
So many good memories. You know, our first apartment was in literally the parking lot for the football stadium for the Gophers. And I'd walk around Dinkytown, so still a huge Minnesota sports fan as well. Have a lot of family back there. My grandmother's approaching 100, and she's still, you know, alive and vibrant, and so grateful for her. So a lot of great memories. I don't miss the snow. I don't miss plugging my car in at night so it'll work in the next morning, or breathing in and feeling it in the lungs with the wind chill. But I do miss Minnesota, the community. It's the heartland, people looking out for each other and that kindness.
I have to know Grandma's name. We got to shout her out.
Grandma Mary gets a shout out, and Joan is taking incredibly good care of her.